nation by saying we are entitled to everything. We are in an age where we say, government, what are you going to do for me? President Obama, what are you going to do for me? We are at that day and age. Instead of asking what you can do for your country, remember President Kennedy, ask not what your country can do for you, but what you can do for your country. We don't do that. We say, how are you going to handle things? How are you going to keep the programs that I've come to depend on? You know what I say? I say we can do it. I say we can do it, and we don't need to be dependent on the policymakers in Washington. Here's how we're going to fix this nation. One, we are going to roll our sleeves up, and we are going to cut our budget. We're going to start with Obamacare. Yes, Matheson voted for it, and yes, he was wrong. We are going to cut Obamacare. It's going to save us $1.8 trillion over the next 10 years. We are going to stop the Medicaid block grants. We are going to farm subsidies, crop subsidies, energy subsidies, you name it. Those are things that we certainly do not need. We're going to open up our lands and start exploring and letting the private sector extract our resources. United States is the largest holder of oil, natural gas, and coal combined. For years, we have been lied to. For years, how many of you have heard that we use 25% of the world's reserves? We use 25% of the world's reserves, but we only hold 2 to 3%. And yet, guess what? We're discovering oil everywhere. We're going to open up that land because that's going to make us more competitive. It's going to create jobs. It's going to help us lower the price of fuel. My parents pay 60% of their paycheck to warm up their homes and drive their cars. And it's going to make us less dependent on countries that want to see us harmed. We are going to be more independent, which makes us stronger as a nation. Abundant, affordable energy is a means to freedom, as far as I'm concerned. We're going to do this. We are going to do something about these poverty programs that do not stem the tide of poverty. We spend $900 billion, a year. I want to make sure the numbers are really big. We spend $900 billion on 185 means-tested programs that's supposed to stem the tide of poverty. Yet what do? They continue to grow and grow and grow and grow. Our policies in Washington reward and incentivize bad behavior and punish good behavior. It is easier to go out and be able to get all of this help, and those who work get punished. We've got to stop that. Because you eat so much of the pie, there's going to be none left. What we need to do is we need to allow our entrepreneurs to produce. Last but not least, I want to talk about this because it's really important. We are going to simplify the tax code. We have got to do that. This whole payroll tax deduction, just kicking it down the road for 2 months. How many of you can run a business not knowing what's going to happen after 2 months? This is the stuff that we need to worry about. We've got politicians that are more afraid of their PR than it is for them to stand up and say we're going to do something about it. So what I would suggest, go ahead and at least extend it for a year, but within that year, we want to see some good tax simplification. We're going to lower taxes, and we're going to broaden the base. Lower taxes, broaden the base. And we are going to produce, because production, produce, products, that's wealth. I had a really good friend that taught me that. Money is not wealth. Money is not wealth. A lot of people think the more money you have, the wealthier you are. No. You know what's wealth? The chairs that we sit in, the food that we eat, our homes, our cars. If we stop producing those things, we're not wealthier. What we need to take is take Americans and bring them up, not bring them down to the lowest common denominator. We need to bring everybody up so that their money goes a lot further, so that there are jobs, and that products are more affordable. Those are the things I'm going to be tackling, because those are the most important things. Anybody who says that they can do everything is lying to you. You only have so much political capital, and I think that we need to do those essential things to turn our country around. I had a little girl, there was this little girl out of school. One of my, he's not here right now, oh yes he is, Casey here, who works on my campaign, is substituting in a school. And it was a 3rd grade class. And the class asked him, what else do you do besides work on Mia's campaign? And he's, what else do you do besides substitute teach? And he says, I work on Mia's campaign. So this little girl said, oh my gosh, we love Mia Love. I'm gonna, hang on a second. So she goes back into her, to her desk, and she draws out this piece of paper. I'm gonna find it. She draws this little coloring. She just draws on this piece of paper. And it's just filled with rainbow colors. She does it really quickly, and she has this little heart. And it says, Dear Mrs. Love, good luck on your run for Congress. Love, Isabella, a student at SSE, Saratoga Shores Elementary. And he came straight to my house after class and gave this to me. And I looked at it, and my heart swelled. Because I saw something in this picture. I saw a little girl who has all the hopes and the dreams in the world. She would never suspect that any adult would do her any harm. Never. She is just full, I got to meet her the other day, she's just full of excitement, and she's just a fireball. She's just really cute. She has got something that's chasing her. She's got her own tontomaku chasing her. If she looks back, she can recognize it as $16 trillion of debt. It is absolutely immoral for us to leave our children a legacy of debt and dependency. What makes us great as Americans is the idea that we provide and we leave a world that's better for our children than what we've gained ourselves. What makes us great as Americans is that when there's another need in our neighborhood, we take it upon ourselves to go and help. We don't need to be forced to do that. We take it upon ourselves to do it. What's great for us as Americans is the idea and this ability that we choose to work hard. And we're free to do that. And we're free to make choices. And guess what? We're free to fail. Because our failures make us better. My parents, I can tell you, they failed many times. Many times. But you know what they did? They got back up on their feet. And they moved on. The working American do not need charity. They need opportunity. They need us. They need government to step out of the way. That's what they need. And that's what I'm planning on doing. That is why I'm running. I'm running because, one, I have all of this experience under my belt. I've worked where the rubber meets the road for almost a decade. I know what it's like. Actually, mayors leaving to go talk to constituents about speed limits, because that's what's important to them. I know what it's like. There's a unique difference between, there's a specific difference between the Senate and the House. Can anybody tell me what that is? Does anybody know?
Represent the state, one's supposed to represent the people.
One's supposed to represent the state, and one's supposed to represent the people. The Senate was originally elected by the legislators. So, I am uniquely qualified to do the job in the House, because where do we work? Right here. When everybody's worried about some other things, you know what we're worried about? We're worried about speed limits. We're worried about chickens. Who can have them? Who can't have them? We're worried about the things that actually make a difference in our homes. So I am very excited to be here. I am ready. I am willing. I want you to know I'm not supposed to exist on the Democratic side. I am their worst nightmare. I'm not supposed to exist, but I'm telling you right now, I'm ready, I am willing, I am coming, and everybody in Washington needs to watch out because Utah is going to elect a different leader. They're going to elect a leader that is going to stand up and eliminate the myth that we're entitled to everything. We're going to eliminate the myth of fear. We're going to eliminate the myth that Americans cannot pull themselves up by their bootstraps on their own. Thank you so much for coming. I want to make sure that we've got enough time. I want my friend David here, who came to see me. I want to make sure he's got a few moments to speak with you. He's been absolutely a great friend and just a blessing to have in my life, and also his really cute wife. He married up. I tell him that all the time. But I wanted to give him a few moments so he can speak, and then I am going to answer questions from everyone. So